Hello. Am I not? Can you see me? I
Yes, we
don't.
can.
I can hear. I'm so sorry. Well, welcome to My Perspective Mondays. I hope you guys are having a great 4th of July because you know what? We got a great show for you today. Tonight, we are going to talk about how can we take our issues in our past and help our future in the future. In other words, how can we take the past and bring it to our future so it would benefit us? Okay. So who would like to be first?
Well, I guess I'll jump in. And the first thing I thought was, excuse me, when I saw the topic, I mean, we're all a product of our past,
I want to
like it or
contribute.
not. And the basically what we can do is, we've all made a lot of mistakes, and we'll continue to make them. But we very often forget the things we've done that are right too, and dwell on the mistakes a whole lot. But in either case, you got a choice. You can wallow in your mistakes, wallow in what's gone wrong in the past, or you can learn from it and hopefully improve. And just in my mind, one thing that comes to mind. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes in life, of course, but and I've been alive longer than everybody else, so I made more. But when I was younger, I had a tendency to be a quitter, and I gave up this, I gave up that, and so it kind of got to the point where I was labeled, a quitter. You quit this, you quit that, and so kind of subconsciously, later on in life, I determined that not to say I would never quit anything again, but that once I started something, if it was something I wanted to do, I was going to stick to it and do the best I could to finish. And that explains, the higher education and so forth, because you need that stick to itiveness to accomplish almost anything in life. So that's just my story. I don't know anybody else, but that's me.
Well, Mark, that's really good. And now I want to restate because Lisette, she's awesome, but um, we also want to talk about the positive things too. So it's like what from our past, anything from our past that can help us with our present and future. Because we got to take lessons from the success stories as well. But we always tend to go towards the negative or things that we didn't succeed at, not as it's a bad thing, but we do that because it's easier to learn from those, right? When everything goes
Yeah,
right, you kind of forget. When everything goes wrong, you never forget.
true, true. I guess it kind of depends on whether you're a glass half empty or a glass half full person.
Yeah.
I think, and I think, and God made it. God made all kinds, and I think I tend to think of myself as a glass half empty person a lot, and may dwell on the mistakes more. But as Billy Joel said, the mistakes are the only thing you can truly call your own. So don't be afraid to admit that you made them and learn from them. But as also as John said, if you think back, you've done some good things in your life too, and learn from those and grow from those as well. So I see the head nods. So since the amens are done, somebody else speak up now. Let's see.
I was like, it's like a funeral in here today. Is everybody
Yeah.
like and like
No,
barbecue? This is like the quietest I've ever heard y'all after
yeah.
Lisette does the opening question. Everybody just went silent. Mark's like, well, I'll just jump in.
no,
Yeah,
no,
it
we're just
had me
kind
at
of
one point.
listening.
Can't do that again.
We're just, taking it all in, just
Uh-huh.
we want
Taking
to.
it all in.
But
You're
But
like,
I
go ahead.
okay, no, I was gonna say, definitely for us, trying to take the positives, like what I've noticed work for me lately, and what I've been trying to stick to is actually do the complete opposite. I like to try to think about all the stuff that actually really worked for me, like, and try to think about those things, like what was I doing, where I saw success in this, in X, Y, and Z, and how can I improve on that and continue to, I guess make further strides, versus looking back and trying to see like what I didn't do with this. But I try to think about, I try to gather up all the positive things. Okay, I did this. Oh, I remember when, for example, like me not second guessing myself, because that's a big thing for a lot of people. Every time I went with my first mind or somewhat, like it always seemed like it worked out. So I kind of have that always in the back of my head moving forward now. Like I just go with my first mind with a lot of things. 9 times out of 10, I've been right. So that works for me. I don't know about, can't speak for everybody else, but.
That's very interesting. But what about people that never examine their past to see if it can help them? What about people like that don't even think their past can help them? Like people, for instance, like you have sometimes young people, forgive me, but sometimes young people, they say, their parents might say, well, I've done this before and don't do this. You know what I'm saying? And they say, nah, man, that's old people. That's old people stuff. I mean, I can't learn from that. I mean, that's what you did. Your mistake ain't always my mistake about this. And I can see what they're saying to some degree, but what about kids like that just don't, they don't think they can learn from their parents?
Again, I think
it's not the kids. Again, me and you gonna get into a fight again. It's not the kids. It's the way you approach it and you try to teach it to the kids. We all remember when we were a kid how we didn't like the way adults talked to us and the way they brought us information. And then we become adults and we try the same darn thing. There are kids who listen to adults. It's all about how you effectively communicate. I mean, Mark's a college professor. He deals with kids. I deal with kids all the time. It's how you bring them the information and how you mentor them. When you sound like you're lecturing or you're bringing it in always hell, brimstone, or whatever that phrase is, and aggress, that's when they tend to not listen, and then they listen to the wrong people. I'm sorry, Henry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna just say that, I mean, what can we learn from the past? I mean, like technically, history class, that's what they teach, right? Learn from the past. And I mean, me having a kid and how do I call it? I kind of teaching him that you will mess up eventually, but I don't feel like it's for me to tell him yet. After he messed up, I'll be like, yeah, I've been there before. Don't worry. You just learn to pick yourself back up again and just don't do the same thing again, right? So I feel that a lot of people are assholes. They'll ask you a bunch of stuff, and then they will never do the thing that you tell them to do anyways. So why do it from the beginning, right? Just after they're done and they fucked up, they'll be like, yeah, don't worry, I got you. We're gonna move on, and just don't do it again, Well,
I don't try to, force my stuff on my children or anything. But if I know that for instance, if I say when they were little kids, I said, now fire burns, okay? They don't believe that, they go up there and touch the fire. I said, okay, now you wouldn't listen. I was trying to tell you that fire burns and you didn't listen to mommy or daddy. So now from experience that sometimes we want to do it for ourselves so much we won't listen to reasoning. I agree with you, John. Sometimes we don't know how to tell them the right way.
It's not a not listening all the time. Sometimes that's just life. I've got to learn that you can't describe hot to me as a human being until I feel it, and now I know it's hot. So it's a little different with that. I get that. Don't stick a knife into the electric socket. You can tell me 1,000 times, but until I get shocked, I know. Don't stick the knife in the electric socket.
I don't know. I feel that's a little different. Like that's kind of like a natural selection. If you come
I didn't say I
don't want to tell you that.
Well, Alita, what do you think about this? Because I have a friend who does this really good thing where if it's not life or death, what he does with his kids is he tells them their options. And then he lets them pick the option they're going to pick. And then when it doesn't work, he comes out and explains to them why. He's like, I'm going to tell you, this is what I want you to do, but here's your other options. You pick one. if it's not going to cause them harm, because he wants them to learn to make decisions and why certain decisions were wrong and why certain decisions were right.
Yeah, I think that it's important. So when you're raising kids, not that I have kids, but I think it's important during that process that you give them little bits of independence where they feel like they have some control. Obviously, you're not going to let them go off the deep end, but I feel like that's really important when they're structuring their personality and their individualism.
I think one thing that I don't know if this has changed or not, or if just my perception has changed in that vein, John. I don't know if parents are as willing or able to allow their kids to fail. It seems, the term helicopter parent, I'm not sure how long that's been around, but it seems that one problem a lot of parents have is they keep rescuing the child, to the point of trying to do something for them instead of, and it's hard to do this though, to sit back and let somebody fail, because you never know if letting that person fail is going to be something they'll learn from or something that'll do them serious harm. And that's
Well, I mean, I kind of feel
I
like
think we
that's
all
the-
teeter
not
on
the-
that because you
it's
can.
the-
I
it's
mean,
the
that's
age
evolved
and
Go
the
ahead,
time.
Henry. Go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, so I'm
nobody
sorry.
says
Like,
anything, then three at once come in.
Right. Everybody's quiet, and now it's like everybody, let's all jump in the jump rope at the same time.
They're
Okay,
trying to
go.
be polite, then they just
like we don't. I mean, normally you don't need anyone to tell you, like stealing things or doing the bad thing is bad. When we were younger, I don't know how old you guys are, but if you're like 30 or something, when we were younger, we used to get our ass whooped. And nowadays the first thing they teach you at school is, hey, when you get abused, dial 911. When we were young, like, oh shit, if we fuck up, we're gonna get whooping. And then I don't know if
let's not get too
good
crazy with that.
disciplinary.
Let's not get too crazy with that. One
Oh,
thing
no.
they were talking about abuse. Some of the whoopings we got were borderline abuse. That kids shouldn't be beat like that. Some of them
No,
were.
Rick,
We just
Correct.
weren't able to do anything. They're not talking about like regular discipline. You getting a little spank on the butt. There were some parents beating kids with clothes hangers and ironing board
no.
cords and all of that. So
or in anger.
the belt.
right.
Well, when my
I mean-
mom told me not to touch the thing, if I tried it, she saw me trying to go for it again. She tore my hands up. I mean, she's
Yeah, but how many times did you try
There's
to
a difference
reach for
between
it?
discipline and abuse. Sometimes people get so hung up on abuse that they don't want somebody to be disciplined.
Look what you just said. My mom told me not to touch the stove, and every time I tried to touch it, she would whip my hands again. That's that thing I was talking about last. It's not working. So what's the alternative? If it worked the first time, why do I have to hit your hands
You
again?
know what she did? She let me get burnt, and I
That-
never did it again.
That's what I'm saying.
Hello.
The thing though, there's like different styles of how people take in information like that. There's 3 different learning styles that are with being visual, auditory, or hands-on. You're either gonna watch somebody else get burned, hear somebody tell you you're going to get burned, or you're going to get burned.
There we go.
That
I can
That
see
is-
that
That's
keeps you,
good.
Alita.
That's good.
I can
That's our
see that.
highlight right there, John. That's our highlight.
That's the highlight right there.
Yeah.
That's going to be in the promo. That's
There
going
we
to
go.
be.
Yeah.
You know that thing you
I
were
mean-
talking about, helicopter parents, from teaching kids from people from the ages of 6 to 7 years old. And this is not saying anything against women before everybody gets outraged. I'm saying what I notice a lot when I was coaching sports and as I coach talent. The fathers will let them fail. The moms are the ones I always have to coach out of stop saving your baby. They was like, my baby. Like we tell kids when someone's talking to you, like when they go to an audition and the person's talking to them, don't look at your parents. Answer the question. And when they can't answer the question, the dads will sit there and wait for them to answer the question, but the moms will be like whispering, like, and it's like, Mom, stop it.
Well, that's why they call it stage mom, not stage dad, most of the time. But I don't know that
That
that's
is
always
okay.
true, John. I've
It's
been
not
guilty
always
of
true. I'm
that too.
saying in my experience from
Yeah.
coaching, this is what I'll notice. And again, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying they're terrible parents. I'm just saying I always see the mom first trying to save, whereas the dads or more willing to let them fail. And we know why. My mama, I'm the baby. That's my baby.
Well, it's instinctual, you know.
Yeah.
If
It
you're
is.
not if it's not some helicopter parent in you, you're probably not a very good parent.
That's true.
It's just knowing how much. It's a very challenging thing. I tell you, I'm going to not shift gears a little bit, but just talking about learning from the past and whatnot. John, I'm going to throw out. This is not my dead guy quote, but here's an old guy quote for you.
Here we go with the
And,
dead and
and
all.
only you and maybe Lisette will know who this is. Henry Kissinger. Okay, I'm looking for the expressions. Henry Kissinger. He was a former Secretary of State under President Nixon and President Ford. But he had a quote once, and I can't remember exactly, but it goes something like this. He was a very well accomplished man with a lot of faults. He said that accept everything about yourself. I mean everything, good and bad. And very often the mistakes we make, the faults we have, if you flip those, they can be our greatest assets too. If you take somebody who was anal retentive, notice the air quotes, in other words, they're very fastidious. That person can get on your nerves, but when you need something done that requires somebody who's fastidious and meticulous, that same character trait really comes in handy. And by the same token, somebody who's very funny and jovial all the time, that can be a good or a bad thing as well. So, accept everything about yourself, both past and present.
I agree, I absolutely agree. And if you can, because there's some bad things that happened to me in the past that has helped me in my future here. I mean, and it will continue to help me because just because it was bad doesn't mean I can't use it, And I absolutely agree with John that some things you just gotta let them experience on their own. But just like you said, Mark, they were so far a parent gonna go without jumping in there. It makes me think about relationships. I think about how that I made some bad decisions in my past on relationships, and it helped me when I got ready to go into the relationship that I have now.
It's gonna be a clearance
Here
sighting.
comes Dad, yeah.
Here comes the clearance sighting every show. Let's go. Let's get it.
Well, it helped me.
We should see a Clarence comment on it right now.
He gonna jump in the camera this time, I guarantee you.
Clarence has been on this show more than half of the cast.
But it helped me. I mean, it's sad, that people can go through bad, just like even my mom said one time, she said, well, I wouldn't marry him if I was you. I wouldn't marry this man. I wouldn't marry this man. I'm saying like, Ma, tend to your business. I mean, tend to your business. I hear you.
Yep.
I got you. Now maybe one of them, she did right. One or two of them, she did right to say not marrying, but she was right. But then there's one that she definitely was not right. And I thank God I didn't listen to her. But but you have got to, some things you just like you said, you're gonna have to experience for yourself. I mean, no matter what people tell you or what your past was, you're gonna have to deal with it yourself. How do y'all feel about that?
Going into that as well as doubling off of what Mark's been previously saying, it doesn't take very much to turn a loss
provide the
into
assets and tool.
I think Alita has a delay. Hold on, Jay. Go ahead, Alita, because I think she has a delay.
Okay.
As a parent, I think it's like important to give your child the tools and the assets to accomplish things and conquer, but you're not really there to do it for them. You can be an example, but that you're pretty much just guidance.
That's good.
What's up?
Jay?
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Right, but like I was saying, doubling off of what Liz said as well as Mark's been saying, it doesn't take much to turn a loss into a lesson. What did you learn from this failed experience versus as to how are you going to go back into it and try to achieve the goal that you want out of it? As well as the majority of people believe that there's only two mindsets to have, but there's really three. The main two that people try to focus on is being optimistic or pessimistic, but what about being realistic? Everybody that's pessimistic is just like, this is just going to go wrong. Why you didn't bother? But an optimist is always trying to look for the golden hour. But a realist is always going to say, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
For sure. Absolutely.
Always.
That's
Always.
it.
It's a lot of people that argue the fact that if you call them a pessimist, they'll counter that with saying like, no, I'm just a realist.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're a pessimist. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference. So people try to use people try to play that realist card a lot of times when to me I think they're just being pessimistic. But I always think like I think we've kind of all said the same thing. Experience is the best teacher. And like my granddad, old school, like and used to hear those terms thrown out there. Like sometimes you just gotta bump it. You gotta let him, you gotta let him, like hit it, and then he'll find out after that, that you can't do that, which was kind of
He
probably
will.
kind of cruel back then for a kid, but at the same time, I guess he's trying to groom a young man, so it was one of those tough love type of things. But I knew not to do certain things anymore, So like,
And that's
I
good
think
because even go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that was it. That was it.
Even what you said, Tio, even as a parent, that's the only way to get your peace is that you got to say, look, you won't listen and you're not going to wear the daylights out of me. You do what you do.
Yeah,
See
because
ya.
you know
I
what?
mean,
Yeah, because when the problem needs to be fixed, I'm coming back to you. So you just gonna sit there and wait and be
Oh
like,
my
yeah,
goodness.
let's come in here and have this talk. I've been waiting on this talk. You know how dad just sit there and he's just waiting for you to come on back. It's like, hey, it didn't work out, did it? Want to talk about it?
mhm,
Well, let's
mhm.
give away some not secret time, but let's do this. Let's go around and everybody, let's do a negative and a positive. We'll start with the negative ones, get those out of the way, and we'll get to the positive ones afterwards. What's something that a mistake that you made or something you did in your past, and then you went and made that same mistake again where you did not learn?
Hmm.
That's tough.
Or something, it could be
Okay.
something you constantly do. I'll start it off so I can shut up. No matter how many times, no, and my senses tell me, don't lend this person money. Don't help this person. And I do it anyway. And every time I have the inkling to not help, because I know it's going to come back and bite me, I do it anyway because I can't help myself. And it comes back and it bites me. And that's just a mistake I've been making since I've had a job.
John, I think
I've experienced that.
what comes to my mind is nobody knows not to ask me for money. They don't have any, so I don't have to worry about that. But is emails.
There's the guy who's traveling the world every week.
Yeah, I mean,
Can I borrow $20?
I've lived in an email world for over 20 years now, and I will never learn. You have to watch what you put in an email.
Ooh.
Because once you hit send, you own it.
Yeah.
And while I'm probably better about it than I once was, I still put stuff in emails that should not be there. And I don't know if I'll ever learn.
Oh, man.
My goodness.
I'm trying to think.
What about you? Let's set something around the room.
Alita?
I think, I love my independence. I love my personal space. I love my alone time. So I feel like when people they have good intentions, but they just want to get closer, and I don't know how to maybe vocalize that I need my alone time. So I just kind of cut ties with people like really quick. And I feel like certain relationships probably would have benefited me if I had kept them around more, because honestly, like truthful people who are brutally honest sometimes are, the best people to have around you, because you never want to just have yes people around. Like that's kind of boring. So like people that just, I guess, have the best intention for me, but I don't know, I just cut them off.
I totally get what you're just saying about that. That's why me and Jay are friends, because I know if I'm walking out looking a hot mess, Jay will be the first one to say, Keone, you look a hot mess. Go change.
Turn around. We're not doing that today.
What about you, Jay?
But we need that. We need that.
I mean this in the best way possible. You cannot always expect to get the exact same courtesy that you give people back. I'm extremely upfront and blunt and honest with everybody to a fault. However, people lie to my face consistently and think that I do not see it. However, as soon as you call them out on it, they like to get upset. And it's just like, I was honest with you. Why can't you be honest back?
Wait,
People
wait,
always have ulterior motives.
You're not gonna get a cop out. We all talk about stuff that we do, and you
That's
gonna talk about
literally what
stuff
I'm
other
saying,
people
though.
do.
You didn't
No,
admit
no.
it.
That's why Mark just sat back and smiled.
Yeah, that's
fingers,
what I was
like,
gonna
not
say
everybody
too.
can hear
Like,
I know,
wait,
yeah.
wait, wait.
It is something
I'm
that
just
I
too
do. But
blame
whenever
honest.
you try
Boy,
to
that's
give
my
somebody
fault. Yeah.
back what they give you, why is it always an issue? If I start lying, I started lying at one point in time, and everybody's just like, "Why are you doing this?"
Okay,
So
but what
what?
did you?
You get to do it.
What is the
But
mistake you keep?
do it.
Oh my God, Mark! It's like he's doing it. You know what my mistake is? I keep giving
Just keep
people
going.
brand new cars. Terrible me. Like stop
Well, you know,
it.
John, and it's like this. If you've done job interviews, and one of the questions that very often somebody will ask in a job interview is, and I've done this before, I'll ask a person, what do you consider one of your strengths? Now, what do you consider one of your weaknesses? And when they ask that weakness question, they try to turn it into a strength. And one guy said, well, I guess my big weakness is I work too hard,
Yeah, like
And I
just
knew right
like
then,
that.
no, I'm not saying you did that, Jay. I mean, but that's what that guy
Wow.
That's what Jay just did, though.
and that was not a fault of his. Trust me, when he
Yes.
got hired, he did not work too hard.
Right. What's your biggest weakness? I care too much. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Not a room for the yes man. I can see that.
So Jay, you gonna give us a real one, or you gonna throw it off on somebody else?
So no spin zone. So
Look at it.
he's giving you the solid treatment now.
I guess not.
I'm too forgiving. How about that? Is that?
Oh my God. Okay. All right, you perfect angel. We're gonna move on to Tia. Let's just move it on.
All right, I'm trying to think. I know one of my probably
Jesus and Mother Teresa in the room.
Right.
one of I think my niggas like I don't know how to tell people. I guess how to tell people no, and I still do that, and I find myself in crazy situations all because I can't say no. Like it's like, how did I get here? It's like just trying to help people out. So it's like that's something that I'm still
good.
working on. Like I see people that hey, can you do? Yeah, all right. And the next thing you know, I'm in the middle of bumfuck Louisiana, like what I'm saying? Like driving, like what am I doing here? Like wait, like. I should have told this dude no. Now he got me out here in the middle of nowhere, like trying to help people. Like so now,
Wow.
I gotta quit. I gotta quit doing that because it's been terrible. Every time it's been terrible. It's
I can relate to that. What about you, Henry?
Oh, shit.
Oh, dear.
I don't.
Henry's
I
like,
don't-
y'all
I
have
don't-
3
I
more
don't- I don't
hours.
think I'm ready for this. Well, I mean, that's
The
why
last
earlier
time we
I
gave
was
you
kind of
this
laughing about, but you know what? I'm a just go with it. So I mean, if my guy, I'm pretty sure you guys can understand this. There has to be a time that when you have sexy time, it ain't you just came just like that, right? And then you'll be talking to the girl, oh my God, next time I will last longer.
I just
I'll
got
last
what you
longer.
said.
I'll last longer. So,
Basically,
what?
Henry's talking
And then-
about the guy.
Wait, hold on. Not yet.
Got the cameras.
Not yet. Okay, so because of that, after that, I've been over preparing myself. Like, before the date, I will touch myself a couple of times. I'll be like
Cut
ready
the
to go.
cameras.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna last this time. And then while doing the date, I will drink too much. And when I take her home or I go to her house, next thing you know, I have the whiskey dick. The dick don't go up. And then I don't know why I keep on doing it. When I go out, I just keep on drink too much. And it just
We're
don't work. I
laughing, but
don't know why I
Henry-
keep on doing it.
Henry, you're laughing, but every guy in there knows that's a real thing. It's all happened to us at least once.
Yeah.
Or if it hasn't happened, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. It's one of the most
Yeah.
embarrassing things ever. And you just the worst thing to do is when it happens, don't start making excuses. That's like the
Yep.
worst thing to do.
No.
I had a rough day. I'm going through things.
Well, to be honest with you, you know how I feel. Coming too fast is better than not getting up at all.
I don't know. I'd have to ask the other person if that was good or not. Lisette, what about you? Yeah, follow that
I don't know
up.
if I can't top none of that. But I will say this.
You can't go any lower
know
either, by
what?
the way.
Can't Lord either.
That's why we mark this not made
I
for
will
kids.
say that it would be for me to not to be so helpful, kind of like what Tia was saying,
No.
not to be so helpful. And sometimes it reminds me of what you said, John, one time before, how you have a tendency to put other people's projects and needs above your own, and I do that sometimes, and I need to learn from that. I really do. So that's the way I see that, but hey, and I do that sometimes.
You see, you and Jay twisted mine. Mine was, even though I said I keep lending people money, my fault is it bites me in the butt and I keep doing it again and I should stop doing it. Whereas you and Jay is like, I'm too good to people.
I give unsolicited advice. There, are you happy?
What's that game where it's like, is it, if a person's telling the truth or they copping out, when he has to be honest? There's a couple of cop outs here.
Truth or dare?
Well, I don't know if it's truth or dare, but I think there's a TV show I watched once. And they were playing a game called "Is he telling the truth or is it a cop out?" A couple of those.
I know what you're talking about.
I think, but I will say that I think Henry was telling the truth. He was not copping out.
Yeah,
Nobody can make up a lie like that.
Well, he was capping out, but So what is let's take this one away. What is a positive thing that happened to you and you learn to continue to do it? Something you learned that was positive. Do I need to start it off again?
Go for it, Henry. Let's let Henry get his out of the way first.
Oh,
Go for it,
dear.
Henry.
Oh, it was when he saw that same girl again. Wait, was this the girl that was from the club from the story you told the first
in his
time?
mouth.
That threw up in your mouth. No.
Well, I mean,
This is a
there have been a
Chronicles?
few times.
Right, Alita. It's a Chronicles.
I'm not going to be able to eat after this.
This poor girl, he's talking about the
I
same
wanna hear
girl.
the
He just
story.
won't say her name.
I'll buy the
Oh,
entire
yeah.
series.
What's the good thing, huh? I mean, what you said earlier that everybody that you think your fault is, I'm too nice and something, but I think, why can't you guys think that's a positive thing? You do it because you want to,
Well, it's not that
like
they're
John,
not thinking,
like you.
Henry, it's not that they're not thinking of it as a positive. We're saying it is a positive when we do it, but it turns into a negative because when I'm lending these people money, it's never coming back, or you're helping these people out and the one time you don't have, they stab you in the back or they just do something. So it always turns out negative. But a positive thing that happened to me and I learned to do it was about in my second relationship, my early 20s. I was dictating what this girl was going to do based on the girl that I dated before. And I learned just that quick that I need to take everybody for who they are as individuals and not always take the baggage from the last relationship into the new one. Every friend that I have, you could ask them how many times has John talked bad about an ex, and you might hear once, because I just feel there's no need. I've learned since then, and I'm going to judge each new friend, each new relationship. I'm going to judge it with a clean slate. I don't like putting what's happened with dealing with other people onto what's happening with the next person I'm involved with, whether that's friendship, business-wise, or relationship.
I get that. Sort of like me and Scorpios.
That makes sense. I also would like to say to anybody that's watching in the screaming right now, please add your comment and your questions. We want to know what you're thinking. All right. But you know what? What about you, Mark? I mean,
I think the thing that I have done right sometimes, both with myself and others, is having patience and being accepting of people's humanity. And I mean, I was telling somebody I have this fault, I have that fault, I'm this, I'm that, I'm just no good, so forth. And the person just said, why do you have such a hard time accepting your own humanity? And that's a question that stuck with me. And so when the times that I've realized that I'm not perfect and that nobody I encounter is perfect, and having that patience and being accepting of your own humanity. And when I've done that, it's paid dividends. And when I've forgotten that, both for myself and others, it's been harmful.
I just want to say, and it has nothing to do with what you just said, even though it's very insightful. Every time you say insightful stuff, Mark, it gets really quiet in here.
I know.
We just be listening, man.
When Tio leans back, lean back again.
Dropping
Tio.
some wisdom right there.
Yeah.
Tio looks like a tiny kid on an oversized couch. What is going on? You look like that couch. Is that a giant's couch? What's going on with that
Not
couch?
that big.
I don't know. Maybe you just make it look bigger.
I just start
No.
thinking of myself and try to figure out where I could put all of Mark's advice in life.
Well, it's like sitting back and watching Buddha say something. It's just there's a 2,000-year-old dude with advice. You better listen.
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
you are not. You do not need to give yourself Buddha.
Even though we haven't had an Abe Pagoda quote for about 5 months. but
And I hesitate to say Buddha with Henry in the session, so he'll know where to go with that.
all right.
Oh,
Wow. Tio, did you do yours?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would actually say I've learned that kind of like what I was saying earlier, like trusting my gut, like in eliminating fear in something that I want to go after. Like that's been working out for me. So like going with my gut instincts and not being afraid, it seems like I'm like, man, I wish I had known this years ago, just to not second guess myself and just like go for it, and like approaching different situations that way, and not thinking about the repercussions. Because I'm a big second guesser, and that was one of my, and I'm always thinking the what ifs. What if this happened? What if this? Not thinking about it, just going with it. Like that's been working for me, like the past, several years, like having that type of mindset.
Okay. Jackson?
I'm really hoping I'm not getting these backwards, but
Buff booty.
maybe it's I call people out on their BS whenever I feel possible.
Oh my God.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
I'm not even sure.
Everything is about your
Honest
bluntness.
Abe.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up.
But yeah, whenever you call somebody out, because sometimes they get a little bit airheaded, you got to bring them back down to earth, and it's just like, that's not gonna fly. And then they're just like reevaluating what they were about to do, and they're just like, yeah, you were right about that. Thanks. If you can keep people grounded because you're grounded as well, I feel like you'll be an influential part of somebody else's life.
Wow. I can understand that. I get that.
Well,
I get that.
Let me debate a second here, okay? And he knows I like him, and he's a very interesting guy. But let me just put it this way: so you're a blunt type and all that. Well, who says it's your job to keep somebody grounded?
Interesting.
I mean, Casey
Very good
Kasem said, "Reach for the stars," and you're trying to pull somebody down.
Interesting.
Well, I mean,
drink my
That's
tea and
very
listen to this.
interesting. That's
But
interesting.
is our job to keep somebody grounded or
Do you
build
guys believe
somebody
in
up?
astrology? Because as a Taurus, that's our placement.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't catch all that. What? I mean, Jackson didn't say anything, and Leah says something I didn't really get. So what? Let's
What did you
rewind.
say
Do it
again?
again.
You used the horoscope. Go
Do you
ahead.
guys believe in astrology?
No,
As a
but go ahead.
Taurus, our placement is Earth, so we naturally ground people and try to.
I'm a Virgo, so yes, I am an
Okay,
Earth
there
sign.
that went. Okay.
Well, there's 12 signs to. Well, we're not going to get into that because there's a whole natal chart for that. But
Anna's gonna be upset if we get into this talk without him.
yeah,
I'm
but,
a Libra, so whatever.
you know, yeah, because whatever your horoscope is, you know right and wrong, and you know when to have some type of constraint. But Jay, I get what you were saying. It's just always funny because all of your stuff is, well, when people.
Well, I'm trying to get
Forget
into bite
about the
back.
people. What about you?
Huh?
Yeah. What about you, Jay? What did you learn?
That's just my counter argument to that. Forget about the people for a second. What about you as an individual?
Who are you directing that to?
Who are you talking? Who are you asking?
That's generalized.
Oh,
Well, we've all done it. We were just waiting on you to do it.
I already
Yeah.
did. I don't want to go again.
Only person
Wow.
hasn't gone is Lisette and Alita.
Go for Alita. She already been. I think she did. Go
She
for
did
Alita.
she did the negative one. Now we're doing the positive one.
I like to maintain like a fluid mindset. So pretty much just like take in information, try to just like not let any bitterness or anger ensue, and then just try to be mindful as I'm expressing it and then let go of the negativity. So hopefully we can just think of like a solid solution that isn't muddied by anger or fear or anything like that. Just stay fluid.
All right. All right. Well, I just I'm just determined to stay positive as much as possible because there's so much negativity out here in the world. So I'm just gonna stay positive, positively charged. Okay. So that's me,
Because I think a couple of you missed it. What's an experience, a positive experience you had that you use going forward in future endeavors? Because you know how we learned from our negative, and we're trying to get to like, what did we learn from our positive experience?
to stay positive.
No, I mean, we're giving the
You know-
people, like I gave them a story. We're giving the people like an actual
Yeah.
scenario of where we learned.
There's so many stories, so many. There's so many. I mean, I don't know.
well, one is.
I didn't
That's why we had
I
6
didn't
guests, so
know.
it gave you all time to think of one.
Well, one thing is that a positive is sometimes, not always, but sometimes hard work pays off. As simple as that.
Mhm.
And again, not always.
I like
but,
how you said always, Mark, because
Right.
we were preached. We were kids. All you have to do is work hard. All you have to do is work hard. And when you're a kid, adults don't let you peek behind the curtain early enough. It's not always work hard, but we all figure it out when we start getting older. It's not always what you know; it's also who you know.
Yeah.
And we don't get taught that part. We just get taught if you work hard, everything will work out.
Well, but always, and again, that's why I said not always.
Yeah,
But
I know.
also
That's what I'm saying. I agree with
And
you.
there's a difference, John. You know this between working hard and working smart.
Yeah.
I've known people that in my line of work and others too. They were the people that spent the most time at the office, but they weren't always the most productive. Sometimes they were least productive because for whatever reason they didn't know how to work smart. So whatever line of work you're in, whatever your task is, there is a difference between working hard and working smart. Sometimes you can, if you're whether it's even work around the house, you can develop a little routine or a little way of doing things that can you kind of maximize your productivity, but not necessarily take up more time.
It depends on the genre, because like I take Lisette for instance. I've lived all over the country, and sometimes it is who
Oh, yeah.
that gets left out is how many people do you hear sing like Lisette, and she sounds better than anyone you hear on the radio.
Absolutely.
She-
Absolutely. And I'm not just
Right.
saying that because she's here.
It's because
I'm not saying it because she's here. I heard that
yeah.
intro several times before I realized it was Lisette. And I thought, who did John hire to sing that? And it was her.
I was trying to get Thelma from Good Times, who sung "Fish Don't Fry in the Kitchen," but she turned me down, so I had to go to Lisette.
Well,
He
thank
lied.
you.
He lied.
Thank you.
We're alone on good time.
Finish what you were saying, John. What was you saying?
Well, and that goes
Oh.
back to the positive. Something positive I learned was the importance of networking. I used to be one of those people because I hate when I hear people go, I want to do it on my own. I used to be one of those people. And then I learned no one does anything in life by themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. I mean, oh, I'm sorry. Go.
No. That was it. That was all I said.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, I thought with life experience, I thought we're talking a little different. Obviously, kind of. I was thinking otherwise. I thought it would be something like, make sure you drink a lot of water when you drink a lot. Okay, you're talking about that kind of experience. Okay, then you know what I found out in life. Like, I know I look at, Asian people, we don't age, but I've been through a lot of shit. In the end, you know what I found out is that no matter what, like how when we're young, right? Your mom, your teacher, your friends, they will tell you that, right? Hey, show respect, you get the same respect back, right? Man, fuck that. That's all baby stuff. I really think the real respect in this world is that you respect yourself. Who cares what other people think about you or whatnot? But you will never lower yourself to their level because that will be disrespect to you. That no matter how they treat you, you'll always stay that one composure to
Well,
talk
right.
to
You
everybody.
can't respect others if you don't respect yourself. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't
Exactly.
start themselves. So that's
But what
why
about if that elder doesn't respect you?
Well, that's what
It's
he's
okay,
saying.
but you have to respect yourself.
Yeah, I respect myself. I don't
It's a
prescribe.
two-way street, baby.
Yeah,
Right.
I
It's
used
not.
to
It's not two-way
Just give
street.
where respect is due.
Yeah.
You see, it's not two-way street. Cause like today, I can be treat you with the utmost respect that I can, Jay, and then you can still treat me like shit, and then I will not change how I talk to you. I will still talk to you the way that I talk to everybody else because I'm respecting myself.
Well,
To me,
look, I respect your view, and you're perfectly fine to have that view because if that's what makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. All I
But-
know is I'm respectful for you, and you disrespect me. It ain't no I'm gonna talk to you the same way. I'm gonna adjust accordingly.
I'm the
And I
exact
used to tell my nephews and nieces this. You can respect.
You have the
You
option.
should respect adults when you're a kid. But I also told them you don't let nobody talk to you any kind of way. That's not how we play this game. And sometimes when I used to go to the school and the teacher would tell me, "Hey, he said this," and I wouldn't be combative, but I was like, "Can you give me the whole scenario?" And then when they give me the whole scenario, I'm like, "Why did you say that to my nephew? You just thought he was gonna sit there and let you call him out his name because he's a child? No, that's not how the Stevens family works. That's not how we work. So
Yeah.
I get it, but to each his own. If it works for you in life, if it works for you, it works for you. That's what I'm gonna say. If it works for you, it works for
yeah.
you. Because Mark is patient. Lisette's one of those people that are just like super peaceful. I know I get on. I know this you know. Except
You
when
know
it
what?
comes to
That's
restaurant.
interesting. You need
Yeah,
to
John.
talk to my husband about that because there have been times when I have completely flipped. You know what? It reminds me of that time that I went to. I think my glass broke in my car. Okay, the windshield broke, and I went to the people that's supposed to put the windshield in there. Okay, so I went up there and I said, I said, I want to come here so you can replace my glass. Okay, so my windshield, whatever. Okay, we're gonna do that, but we can't put. And this, mind you, this is a brand new car. We can't put the same glass that was in there. It's not going to be as the right tint that it was. I said, well, I like the tint that it was, and that's what I want in there. No, we can't put that in there. We got to put this other glass. And honestly, I flipped. Okay, you need to talk to my husband. My husband was like, but I did flip. And you know what? I flipped so bad I had to. I left. And this is what was funny because when I came back with my hands in my pocket. I didn't know I had my hands in my pocket, but he probably was thinking that it was something in there, but it wasn't. That's what was so funny, because I wasn't going to shoot the man or anything, but I came back with my hands in my pocket. But meanwhile, when I went back, I had to pray. I said, Lord, help me to calm down. So I left to get calm, not to go in there and shoot the place up when I got back. All right. So here I go, into the glass place, and the man said, oh, I tell you what, we're gonna change that right away. Don't worry about it. We got you. I said, you are, huh? I had my hands in my pocket. I said, okay.
Mark, I'm starting to think Lisette is a customer service nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so
First
funny.
it was the
I went back
then
and
it was the
apologized. I went back to apologize to the man. I said, I am so sorry, the way I acted earlier. But meanwhile, I had my hands in my pocket, like this. He said, look, we got you. We're gonna fix this glass, And I'm saying, I said, that's interesting, baby. He changed his mind. And then
John,
I looked down at my
he changed his mind.
You were gonna
A razor blade. Lisette, did you hear what me and Mark was talking about? We're starting to put all these stories together, and we're just starting to think you're a customer service nightmare.
Yeah.
No, honestly.
Well, she's like a lot of musicians, kind of the artistic temperament,
I mean,
seems to be.
I'm calm, I'm peaceful and all that, but there have been times that I have tried to get my point across. So, my husband will tell you about that one day. Yeah.
Lord, we don't have
that kind of reminds me of the time that this is really fun. It's hilarious. This keeps me laughing. All right.
We'll be the
I
judge
went
of
on this gig. I had to sing, and this man had promised, some money, this, that, and other. So when we got rid of the show and everything, he said, well, I can't pay you until 2-3 days from now. I'm saying like really? But you said you would pay me today. Well, I mean, how am I going to get home? I don't have any gas. I had the gas money, but how am I going to get home? I don't have the gas money, and it's kind of somewhat funny because sometimes you can do stuff that's hilarious. You don't even know how funny it is. So I told him, I said, well, how are we going to get home? You promised me the money like that. He said, well, I don't have it. I said, look at these people in this car. I have to pay these people. And he looked in the car, and there was 2 little children and a lady. And I'm saying,
you got to pay the kids.
Well, but you got to see the funny part in it. Because he's probably thinking, like, where's your band? You got all these musicians.
I mean, that's pretty funny to me. I want to know what you paying them kids.
That should have been the time that.
Yes, I pay the kids. I pay the kids. Anybody that flow with me, they get paid. Yes, they do.
Listen, that should have been the time where you walked back with your hands in your pocket.
No,
right.
Down. Believe me, I was totally upset. But I'm just saying it was so hilarious because this man is thinking, okay, where's the band? Where's everybody at? No, there's 2 kids and a lady in there, and I got to pay these people.
You paying them chicken nuggets.
You know what? Lisette's leaving out a very important part of that story. After the event and after she handed out that money, they went to a restaurant and their order was messed up.
Oh, Lord. I don't even want to tell you about Lord. I went to another.
At the awful mouth.
Another restaurant.
The Chronicles.
That's an old another.
Oh my God.
That was the weekend. Oh my God, jeez.
Oh my
I'm saying,
God.
baby, is it why does the
Bringing back flashbacks.
bad waitress waiter thing comes on me? What is going on? What is going on? It was never mind. It was terrible.
Oh my God.
No. This is the 3rd or 4th time that she's done this. Continue the story, Lisette. We want to know.
I'm serious. I mean, I went to this restaurant just the other day. I mean, it was like a day ago. Oh my God. They didn't bring the biscuits with the food. They didn't bring the side order with the dinner. They didn't bring the napkins, with the food. We had a nap. I said, oh my God. What is going on?
Not the napkin.
What restaurant was this?
Henry is the only one. Henry and T, you got to remember, hold on. Henry and Tio wasn't on the show when that episode came, when we talked about the restaurant episodes. And Lisette had 9,000 stories about how all of these restaurants, the food was nasty. They didn't bring us something was cold.
There was a fly in the
after a while, I was like, what are the restaurants you're going to?
Like where?
It was a
Right.
fly in the too.
But
And
that's,
then
that's
there was
okay. I mean,
there was poo poo in the bathroom on
now
the
look,
railing and on the
look,
floor.
please,
Oh
no,
my God.
It was
no,
nasty.
but no more poo poo.
That was a golden
Right,
corral. That
but
had to be.
the thing that's good
Oh,
here is
God.
that, John, I think this has been a religious experience because I believe we just witnessed an exorcism. I mean, a lot of demons just flew out of Lisette.
Wow.
I mean, if her head starts spinning
I'm telling
around, you know,
you, it was absolutely terrible.
Oh my God! Wait,
Wow.
this
Felt
was
like
recently.
a lot of stress
This was
that
recently.
flew out. You know,
This is
people
recently.
get you. I mean, ain't y'all ever got kind of upset before?
No,
Was
I'm
this
the
happening
most.
recently?
Listen,
Yeah.
Lisette?
not to
I
that degree,
listen.
no.
I don't get
Sure you
upset.
have.
I don't get upset as a customer because the people that are working behind the counter are human. They are prone to make mistakes. So I never get outraged when my order is wrong. Like you go to you go to McDonald's 1,000 times, your order's right. And the one or two times it's wrong, you fly off the handle. Like, let's play the odds here, right? And I helped my friend who owns a restaurant. We worked there the other day, and a lady came in and she said, her foot was hurt, so someone needs to bring the food out to her. So I brought the food out to her. The food was messed up. It was right. The food was messed up. She came back. She walked in the store because now all of a sudden, by the grace of God, she can walk. And she comes in, and we remake her food. And the owner is telling the manager to comp her and give her her money back, plus the new food. And she's like, I come here all the time, and this is the worst. I'm like, why you got to go through all that? If you come here all the time and you got your food messed up today, we just gave you new food. We just refunded you your whole money back. And then she's like, well, y'all should at least give me a dessert. I wanted to smack her.
Wow. See,
Oh my
Now
God.
see, y'all did her nice. Y'all was very nice to her. I don't be rude to the waitress.
There's
don't be
no
rude to
reason
them.
to get upset because somebody forgot your pickles. Like, just say,
Oh, I
hey, you
don't-
forgot my pickles. And no, I'm not talking about you, Lisette. I'm just saying.
I even tipped her. Can you believe that? Oh my God.
Well, but she worked.
I tipped her. I did.
You're supposed to.
I mean, but she was terrible, but I still tipped her.
Yeah, but
Because
you're
I
not
felt
tipping.
sorry for her.
Even though
felt sorry.
I tip to service, so the better your service, the more I tip you. Even if you're terrible, I'm going to tip you. It may not be 20, maybe 10, but I'm going to tip you because you were terrible. You still served me. Even though you went back 3 times, you still went back 3 times and got the food right. But I'm just saying, it in the big scheme of life, there's a lot going on for people to be flying off the rails. Because
people are human. We're all human. We're all.
Yeah.
We are.
It's the nature of human beings to fail. We're going to fail. And
That's
we
good.
and I have to relearn this every day. I have to accept failures and shortcomings in other people. I got to accept them in myself. And sometimes we have a hard time doing that, both with ourselves and other people too. But you got to keep
I have a
It
problem.
kinda-
Go ahead, Tio. Go ahead, Tio.
I have a problem with getting mad at people that handle my food. So I don't like to play that game. Maybe it's subconsciously I'm like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not,
He has a point there.
this is not the
If
right
you go
time
back,
to
they think
yell.
I
Yeah, let me get my food first, then I'll yell on the way out.
Right. Oh no, it's
I
worse
did
when
at
you're
one
with
time.
people and it's somebody else with you
Well,
that
like
does it.
that.
I remember going through a drive-through, it was
Oh.
Burger King drive-through in Texas with my friend, and you know how they cut you off to ask you things? So he is like me. We get the same thing every time. I want a Whopper, whipped cheese, and bacon, large Coke, large fry, and he just wants to get his order out. So he's like, I'd like a number one. Would you like fries with that? Yes, that's what a number one is. But I'd like a number one. And then she asked, would you like cheese? He's like, yes, I'd like cheese. But I would also like, and what to drink? And he's like, well, if you wait a minute, you uppity bitch. And then it was silent. And then he gave her his order. And then he turned to me and said, what do you want? I said, I don't want nothing. I'm
You
not
gotta
even
be
hungry no
careful with
more.
the people that make your food because just
I
like
don't
God
want
said,
nothing.
we
Potato
have
is gone.
unruly customers. You
So
cannot be
then-
unruly with the people handling your food.
His order was messed up.
Yeah.
So he walks back into Burger King. He holds the bag of food up like the Undertaker, and he goes, thanks for effing up my order. He just throws the bag and leaves.
Wow.
Wow.
And they probably won't even know
My
soap in
God.
the restroom for them to wash their hands. If I don't have any soap in there, they don't have any soap either to wash their hands.
There's a bathroom behind the counter, Lisette.
You know what we're all gonna do?
I hope.
Theo, Alita, Henry, Jay, and Mark.
Yeah, you
We're all
hope.
gonna be invited. We're all gonna fly or drive down to Lisette's house. She's gonna cook a big old meal, and we ain't gonna do nothing but complain.
That'll be cool.
Yes,
but
I
you're
can
gonna
be a
be
camp
full
for a day.
when you do. You're gonna be full. 'Cause
I
I'm
would
gonna
hope
lay
it's
it
not
on
like
ya.
my friend's house.
You said what, Jay?
How's that?
I said I would hope it's not like my friend's house because I can't leave Floss in her kitchen without the roaches trying to hang herself.
Oh my God.
What,
Okay,
what
let's
kind
No,
of
I
friend
don't
are
have
you?
any
I mean, what
roaches.
kind of
Kitchen
friend do you
cabinets
have?
look like the gallows.
Lisette, that's your
Oh
cute.
my goodness.
Wow.
Wow.
She
That's
said, what?
amazing. Cool. Said the roaches. Now
said
let me
cool.
back that up.
No, you ain't backing it up. You gonna back it up to this banner that says "Final Thoughts." That's what you
Backing it up.
All right, Jay, let's do some final thoughts, bruh.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Let's back it up to Jay. Back it on up.
Take everything that you've gone through in life and see how you could have done it better, as well as try to bestow this knowledge upon the next generation that may or may not have to be involved in that situation as well.
Okay.
Whatever.
Henry?
Oh, well, I mean,
Oh boy.
all I have to say, no, nothing.
I'm gonna put up the F word counter right now, the ticker.
No.
This is
No,
censored, right?
No. Shit. I forgot what I was gonna say now. Okay, that if you keep on repeating the same thing, it's called insanity. You know, if you learn something good and doing something good, you know, just keep on doing it. Just yeah, that's it. You see, I was good.
That was good. Tio?
I'll just say, you know, experience is life's best teacher. So, whatever you went through, good or bad, you know, like Jay says, always a lesson in it. Find the lesson.
Alita?
Think bigger than just your backyard. I know a lot of people are focused on themselves, but it's important to think bigger than just your backyard. Like, how is this movement, statement, whatever, going to affect me in a week, 10 years? Is it going to affect the people I care about? Is it going to affect my community in a positive or negative way? So, yeah, like Jay said, just think about the future generations and try to be mindful of humanity.
Wow,
Mark?
that was some wisdom right there.
She's such a mellow, gentle soul, isn't she? You know, so refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With me, I say, feel free to worship God or worship a higher power, but don't try to be God. All right, embrace your humanity. Go with it. Go with it.
Okay. John, you want to go?
Who's John?
Or you want me to?
John, Melvin,
Keone,
whatever
can we
your
get
name is.
some final
I
thoughts
said,
from you?
who's
please?
John?
No.
You, John.
All right. So, you know what? I don't have a final thought, but I have a bunch of things I learned today. I learned that Alita's a vampire. I learned that Tio is too small for his couch. I've learned that Henry comes too fast. I've learned that Mark is muscle Buddha.
Wow.
I've learned that Lisette needs to walk through metal detectors when she goes to businesses. And I've also learned that Jay's an asshole, but I don't know if I learned that today or if I've just always known that. That's what I've learned today. And I'm just going to move it on.
Wow. Well, you
Then
learned
had
a whole
beef.
lot.
You want to
Well,
know what
I
I've
just-
learned today that I may have also known prior? Keone ain't got no hair.
What do you got here?
Wow.
He can
You know
buy a
what?
wig.
Oh no. You know what? This has been cool. I learned, you know what? It's important that we continue to learn and to whatever we've learned in our past can help us. I do know that much. It can help us or it can hurt us. So take your past and try to learn what you can, what you can't, what you don't have in your past to teach you, then get it from somebody else. I was going to say steal it from somebody else, but no, not necessarily steal it.
Same
Not
thing.
necessarily
I'm down.
steal it, but
Henry,
take
get the
take
scheme.
take a head up.
Write it and credit them.
Somebody trying to tell you something, and you so hard headed you don't want to listen and go out there and learn on your own. So if you can steal some stuff and not have to do it yourself, then steal stuff or take stuff from somebody else trying to help you and move on. How about that? And God bless you. You have a great day.
Whoever the hell was watching the show, mute it next time.